Suppose, just so everyone knows, the first order of business, we are going to go into a drainage district meeting first, and then we will, at 9:30, roughly thereafter, we'll go into our regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. So this is just a formality, but we do have a drainage district meeting, and I would ask for a roll call vote, or a roll call at this time.
Holm? Here. Hawkinsmith?
Here.
Connolly?
Here.
Altringer?
Here.
McCoy?
Here.
Resolutions. Number 2, resolution approving an assessment of 41.43% of the original assessment amount for Drainage District Polk, Boone, Dallas Number 1 to be spread upon the properties in the district.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm? Yes. Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the drainage district meeting.
So moved.
Move.
Roll call?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Okay, at this time, I would call to order the regular meeting of the Polk County Board of Supervisors. Roll call?
Holm?
Here.
Hawkinsmith?
Here.
Connolly?
Here.
Altringer?
Here.
McCoy?
Here. Action on the minutes from the previous meeting. Ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Any special claims?
None.
Okay. Action on the bill list is submitted by the county auditor. Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. At this time, I'd ask everyone to stand and give your attention to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This time, we're going to, we have a series of 3 proclamations, and so we'll do the first and second proclamation, and then the third proclamation, and then I believe we'll be taking pictures, and there's folks from the audience for both the Juneteenth resolution proclamation as well as the World Refugee Day proclamation. So at this time, we'll begin with the Juneteenth proclamation. Whereas Juneteenth is annually observed as the end of slavery in America in honor of a group of formerly enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, finally learning of their freedom on June 19th, 1865, 2 years after the issuing of the Emancipation Proclamation. And whereas Juneteenth is one of the most important observances in the cultural history of the nation, as it commends the collective contributions and achievements of the African American community and seeks to raise awareness of the ongoing battle for civil rights and freedoms fought by marginalized groups. And whereas on Juneteenth, we commemorate that day and honor the tireless work of abolitionists who, in their mission to deliver the promise of America for all Americans, we honor the generations of activists who've advanced the need for our nation to recognize Juneteenth as a way to reconcile our past as we build a new American future together. And whereas the longest running American African holiday is celebrated each year in great jubilation with group prayers, religious services, family picnics, large gatherings, speeches, and educational seminars to preserve and commemorate this community's rich national history. And whereas although Juneteenth celebrates the emancipation of the African descendants, its message promotes prosperity, freedom, equality, and commitment to eradicating discrimination of all individuals from all colors, races, creeds, and cultures. And whereas Polk County seeks to understand and celebrate the diverse backgrounds and perspectives that makes up our community and exemplifies the unique character of our county, now therefore let it be proclaimed that we, the Polk County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth. Signed this day, the 17th of June. Board of Supervisors, thank you.
I didn't know if we were doing individual speeches. Apologize.
We would take public comments at this time for anyone that's here in the audience, and I believe there's a group that have signed up in advance for comments today. We'd love to hear from you at this time. It would be appropriate for you to speak to the resolution. Joanna, I think you're first.
Good morning. Today I stand with sincere gratitude and a full heart as I thank the Polk County Board of Supervisors for awarding a grant to support Iowa Juneteenth and the events we host throughout Polk County. Your support makes it possible for us to continue the important work of celebrating freedom, teaching history, and building community. While I thank the full board for this decision, I want to give special appreciation to Angela Conley, Tom Hawkinsmith, and Mark Holm. Because of your leadership, Iowa Juneteenth will move forward this year. I will remember the three of you for ensuring we didn't have to pause our work. You helped keep the story alive, not just for this generation, but for many to come. As we celebrate 35 years of Iowa Juneteenth in Polk County, I want to share why this work is vital. When the United States practiced slavery, it didn't just impact those who were enslaved, it created a ripple effect that harmed generations of African Americans. From access to education, healthcare, home ownership, and economic mobility, the damage is still present today. Some say we are all in the same race, but the truth is, while everyone may start on the same line, when the gun went off, Black Americans were forced to take a different path. One full of roadblocks, detours, setbacks, while others advanced freely, and yet we kept running. As a nation, a state, a city, and county, we have a responsibility not to dwell in guilt, but to rise in accountability. This isn't about blame or division. As I often say, none of us were there, but we are here now. And now is our chance to make things right. Supporting organizations like Iowa Juneteenth is how we begin to close the gaps of the past. It's how we build a future where everyone feels seen, heard, valued, and empowered. It's not about putting one race above another. It's about building a table where everyone belongs. At Iowa Juneteenth, we celebrate by remembering our history, learning from the triumphs and the truths of our past, releasing our past, choosing forgiveness and healing, and reshaping the future by raising voices through voting, civic engagement, and leadership. Today, you have poured into this mission, and while we are grateful for this support, I ask you to walk not just with us today, but for the next 35 years. Let's build together because the future depends on what we choose to do in the present. Thank you for believing in Iowa Juneteenth. Thank you for believing in this community, and thank you for taking a step forward with us.
Thank you.
Mayor Rose, Polk County Treasurer, I do also want to commend the board for taking a stance to support Juneteenth. As an elected official and a descendant of slaves, I appreciate Angela making sure that this didn't stop. Tom for putting that money and Mark for putting that money forward for us. The whole board for recognizing us and making sure that this holiday all of us can celebrate. And I encourage and implore all of you to look at the Juneteenth website, know all the activities that are planned throughout the community to support this initiative. It's not just for African Americans, it's for all people. And I want you all to know that I appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anyone else? Hearing no others, we'll go ahead and then move on with the next proclamation, and then we'll do pictures afterwards.
World Refugee Day. Whereas Polk County recognizes the United Nations General Assembly's designation of June 20th as World Refugee Day, which is celebrated internationally to elevate the understanding of forced migration and to honor and raise awareness of refugees. And whereas refugees are people who have fled their countries to escape conflict, violence, or persecution, and have sought safety in another country. And whereas Polk County proudly recognizes the work of a network of providers that includes resettlement agencies, ethnic community-based and faith-based organizations, nonprofits, educational institutions, and civic organizations dedicated to equipping refugees with skills, resources, and support that they need to achieve economic and social self-sufficiency and live fulfilling lives. And whereas Polk County celebrates the growing diversity of its residents and acknowledge that refugees strengthen the economy and cultural richness of our community. And whereas refugees communities near and far, along with supporters and friends, will observe World Refugee Day during the month of June 2025 throughout Polk County with cultural celebrations open to the entire community. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that we, the Polk County Board of Supervisors, do hereby proclaim June 20th, 2025 as World Refugee Day.
Thank you. Are there any individuals that would like to speak to this resolution today on World Refugee Day? Please come forward and state your name and position.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Morris, and I'm with the Refugee Alliance of Central Iowa that's now under Polk County. The ROSI Network has helped plan World Refugee Day events for the past 12 years, and we just wanted to extend our deep felt gratitude for Polk County to continue welcoming refugees into Polk County, into Central Iowa, and grateful for your continued support for these communities and the agencies that do all of this hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Thaco. I'm the Assistant Director of Immigrant and Refugee Community Services with Lutheran Services in Iowa. On behalf of all of the resettlement agencies in Central Iowa, I also wanted to say thank you to the Board of Supervisors for your support recently. Because of your support, we have been able to continue services for 486 recently arrived refugees who came when the executive order was issued halting resettlement. And so in continuing to serve those families who are exited from resettlement and employment services, we thank you for your support and for your recognition today.
Thank you.
Hello, Board. I am Danya Jenkins Guy. I'm the Executive Assistant for Mary Wells, Polk County Treasurer. I stand for World Refugee Day for Ms. Renata. I hold this picture here. I served as I'm not gonna cry. I served as an AmeriCorps member for some years at Oak Ridge neighborhood. Miss Renata was a part of the ESL class. She came there, I think, for socialization, because she didn't really speak a lot of English. She came in and drank coffee and ate donuts with the class as they were taught English. So she looked at me one day and she said, "Mama Renata," and she counted her 7 languages on my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And she looked at me and said, "English?" "Yes, ma'am, that's all I have is English." She came from Burundi. Well, let me go back. In this picture, she just passed on May 9th. She was born in 1935, so she was 90 years old. And I met her in 2018 when she was only 79. Again, she was coming to the ESL class, but she came from Burundi. But why did she come here? Because of war. She had to evacuate her home because of war. If you saw Miss Renata, part of her thumb was missing. And that's why what made me so emotional to think about her struggles and why she had to come here. Part of her thumb was missing because she was running from her village with her baby in her arms, and she got shot. And the bullet went through her thumb, took her thumb, and of course killed her baby. But Miss Renata came here still smiling, still resilient, as people like to say. But she started slowing down coming from the ESL class. And I guess I didn't realize at the time how old she was because she was just walking around very jubilant. I said, "Ma'am, how come you're not coming?" And she just rubbed her knees. Then I thought about her age. She was an entrepreneur. She had a small business as she lived in Oak Ridge. But I am thankful for World Refugee Day because Miss Renata was able to come to the United States and get away from war. Secondly, this picture right here. I know he's so cute, isn't he? This is my husband and I. He's been in America for over 20 years, and he came here with his family because of war and religious reasons. You know, as we are thankful that America welcomes us here, it's so sad that people have to come away from their friends, away from their family, away from their culture, to a land that they hope accepts them. A lot of people come here with the American dream in sight, big white house, big white picket fence, but as Ms. Dewana eloquently stated, it's different for African Americans. So thank you again for supporting World Refugee Day and Juneteenth.
Thank you for your stories. Appreciate that. Any others? If not, I think we're going to recognize some outstanding students in District 2. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, first of all, this is a very full room, and thank you all for coming, and it's a very full agenda. That's probably what brought a lot of you here. It's an honor, truly, to be talking about this proclamation on such a day that we are honoring other groups. So originally, I had wanted to bring students that had excelled, who go above and beyond in my district here, and obviously there would not have been room for those almost 100 kids. What we have is a bunch of people sitting up here that we're all here for different reasons, some economic development, some to work on homelessness, some to work on mental health, some to help refugees. What we all end up doing is being problem solvers. And this is recognizing future leaders and problem solvers who are already active in their community. So thank you for humoring me with the district proclamation for District 2. Whereas student participation in fine arts, athletics, and extracurricular activities play a vital role in promoting a well-rounded education. And whereas students have demonstrated exceptional talent and achievement in visual and performing arts, academic competitions, athletic events, and honors at local and regional and state levels. And whereas these accomplishments reflect the dedication of educators, coach, activity sponsors, parents, and the broader school community. And whereas Polk County Board of Supervisors proudly recognizes the school districts and their students listed for their excellence in fine arts, athletics, and extracurricular programs, and commends the positive impact these opportunities have on student growth and community pride. And whereas the board pledges its continued support for enriching extracurricular arts and athletic opportunities for all students, now therefore let it be proclaimed that we, the Polk County Board of Supervisors, do hereby recognize the following school districts and their students in District 2 for their outstanding achievements: Bondurant Farrar, Dallas Center Grimes, Johnston, North Polk, Southeast Polk, Urbandale, Woodward, Granger. And this is not just, this proclamation is District 2, but I know that there are outstanding students in all of our districts. And we just need to take time to thank them for what they do and help encourage them as they're moving their way through life. So thank you for allowing me to read that.
Thank you. At this time, we'd ask folks that want to get a picture with the Juneteenth crew for the proclamation to come forward, and we'll go ahead and get a picture. Yes, now we'll do the World Refugee one as well. World Refugee. Come in.
I don't know.
Well, thank you all for being here, and at this time, we would take any public comments for the board. Anyone here to address the board on any items before the board, or any issues with the board? Yes. Ryan, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Brian Mulcahy from the Des Moines Airport Authority, and this is Jake Christensen, our board chair. So I'll let Jake say a few words first.
Good morning, Jake.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the supervisors. Thank you for the opportunity to come down here and give you an update. I think that on behalf of the other members of the authority, we want to express our gratitude for Polk County and the voters' support in enabling us to make additional progress on the terminal. I think that we should have a giant sign around the entire field, pardon our mess, because in addition to $500 million terminal, we've got a handful of other projects across the field. But Brian's here to give you the update on that. But sincerely, he will give you some of the details of the impact that Polk County participating in this project mean from a tangible standpoint. But I don't think the citizens of our community or our state will ever realize how big of impact this group had and what the voters did when they approved it. So thank you on behalf of the authority, and turn over to Brian. Thanks.
Thanks, Jake.
Just real quick, I want to give you a quick update on where we're at right now. The blue Phase 1A and 1B West, the orange, is what's being constructed right now. So that will be expected to be done in December 26, January 27 timeframe. And then the red, Phase 1B East, is what is being bid right now, and the board will get those bids here late summer, early fall, and we'll make a decision on whether or not we move forward with that section of the building. Assuming we're able to, that will give us 11 new gates on the new terminal by the end of 28, early 29,
Brian, excuse me, why wouldn't you go? Why wouldn't you do it?
It's all about what the bid, how the bids come in. We expect to be able to, and the reason we expect to be able to is because of the savings that we've achieved through Polk County issuing the bonds to make the loan. Originally we projected $70 million of savings in debt service over the life of the debt. And I think Tim Oswald gave you an update. Maybe we're pretty confident we're going to achieve more than $70 million savings. So that's allowing us to feel comfortable going forward with this last section of the new terminal out by Fleur Drive. So just want to give you that update. We're on track so far. Everything's looking good. And as the sign says behind Supervisor Conley, Polk County has truly led the way with helping us with this project, and we really appreciate that. So that's why we wanted to be here today, to thank you in person.
Brian, any advice for travelers this summer? What should they plan on as far as challenges, disruptions, extra time?
We've got a lot of projects going on right now, obviously on the air side and the land side of the airport. So there's a chance there's going to be some delays. If there's a lot of late flights on a given day because of weather or something like that, there's some congestion if all the airplanes start coming in at the same time. So I guess the only thing we can do is ask for patience. We've avoided a lot of passenger impacts so far, but we're getting to the point now where there could be some. But just hopefully give us some patience for the next 18 months till we get through the rest of the construction. And if you are picking people up at the airport, we'll ask you to start picking them up in the garage. We're going to offer free parking for a certain amount of time so that people can pick up in the garage instead of sitting on the front curb. That will help us a lot. The front curb gets backed up, and then our shuttles, our hotel shuttles and our parking shuttles can't get through. So that's probably the one big request we have is we're going to start when the new parking garage opens at the end of June. So just in a couple weeks, we're going to initiate a new front curb in the parking lot, in the parking ramp, so that people can pick up in there.
And you'll be down to one lane for a bit this summer then?
One way, well, for the aircraft, one way in and out of the terminal area. On the front curb, there may be times when that gets a little bit pinched because of the new construction going on the new terminal.
Very good.
Yeah, I guess, I want to point out that the original plan was to just build the first five gates on the new terminal. Because of bids coming in better than expected, because of saving the money that we saved with Polk County helping with financing, we were able to expand that to the Phase 1B West initially, and now bids continue to come in good. So now we're looking at that final phase. So really appreciate all the support that we've received from the county, from the voters to approve the referendum as well.
Thank you. Thanks for the update. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Any other public comments at this time for the board? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to permits.
Permits. Number 10, renewal application for Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service permit for Club Celebrity located at 1510 Northeast Broadway Avenue, Des Moines.
Roll call?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith,
Yes.
Yes.
Altinger,
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes. Resolutions.
Number 11, resolution authorizing auditor's office to publish notice of public hearing on July 1 for proposed disposal of interest in county-owned real estate to Ralph Cornelius Hall. Number 12, resolution authorizing auditor's office to publish notice of public hearing on July 1 for proposed vacation of existing platted public utility easement located at 1819 Northwest 72nd Avenue, Ankeny. Numbers 13 and 14 are resolutions approving contract and second amendment to contract with the Iowa DNR for air quality program funding. Number 15, resolution authorizing transfer of $500,000 from the secondary roads budget to the Farm to Market Fund. Numbers 16 through 18 are resolutions approving cooperative public service agreements with the City of Ankeny, the City of Des Moines, and the City of Pleasant Hill. Number 19, resolution approving permanent and temporary easement agreements for project RCB Culvert New Twin Box. Number 20, resolution accepting bid from Kramer and Associates. 21, resolution approving authority of the Public Works Director to sign and bind Polk County to contracts and agreements under $15,000. And number 22, resolution approving a request letter for an agreement amendment with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Polk County Older Adults Home Modification Program.
So moved collectively.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
yes,
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Numbers 23 and 24 are resolutions approving 3-year lease agreements with the City of Des Moines for Pioneer Columbus Congregate Meal Site and Scott 4 Mile Congregate Meal Site. Number 25, resolution approving agreement with Green Resource Management for medical waste disposal services. Number 26, resolution approving agreement with Mail Services for pre-sort mail services. And number 27, resolution approving agreement with Brooks Borg Skiles Architecture Engineering.
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
yes,
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 28, resolution approving memorandum of understanding with the Iowa State Association of Counties Technology Services. 29, resolution approving on-call judicial mental health advocate agreements. Number 30, resolution approving First Amendment to Polk County, Iowa Disability Access Point contract with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services. Numbers 31 and 32 are resolutions approving memorandum of understanding with Jasper County, Iowa and Marion County, Iowa for shared judicial mental health advocate services and compensation. 33, resolution approving memorandum of agreement with the Ankeny Community School District for funding of Ankeny Substance Abuse Project. Number 34, resolution approving provider agreement and business associate agreement with Employee and Family Resources. Numbers 35 through 38 are resolutions approving opioid settlement fund prevention grants to Community Youth Concepts, Friends of YJI, Kingdom Living Iowa doing business as Rise Recovery Center, and Steps of Hope Iowa. Numbers 39 through 43 are resolutions approving opioid settlement fund supports for people with lived experience grants to Bridges of Iowa, Focus Inc., Rebel Healthcare, Kingdom Living Iowa doing business as Rise Recovery Center, and to Rebel Healthcare for their collaborative project with Rise Recovery Center. Number 44, resolution approving service agreements with the Arc of Story County, Community Support Advocates, Easter Seals Iowa, Hope, Link Associates, TJS Accounting Solutions, Trans Iowa LC, and Unity Point Irely Ball Community Mental Health Services. And number 45, resolution approving dissolution of the Polk County Mental Health and Disability Services Region Governing Board and authorizing the Polk County Region CEO to sign and submit reports to the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services.
So moved.
Second. And then, is Gabby here? Could you just, this is awesome that we're able to allocate all those dollars for opioid settlement. Could you just give a blanket statement on what some of these services and dollars are going to? I think there's a lot of people probably in the room that are getting some of this.
Yes, thank you, Supervisor Connolly. Today, the Board of Supervisors is positioned to approve over $2.8 million in opioid settlement grants over the next 2 years to community organizations that are represented here today. The projects range from youth prevention for evidence-based programs to help youth build social skills so that later in life they don't turn to substances, and all the way to harm reduction, distributing naloxone throughout Polk County through distribution boxes so people stay alive and can get help for their substance use disorder if they so choose to do so, all the way to treatment programs that focus on integrated services so people can get their mental health care, physical health care, and treatment for their substance use all in one place. So we're really ranging the gamut of all the different services that are allowed under the national opioid settlements and making sure that we're using these dollars to the best of our ability to help people who have been harmed by opioid use throughout Polk County.
Gabby, thank you for your comments. I think that after we vote on this resolution, we're going to go ahead today and take photos immediately after because there's so many other items on the agenda as we close out our fiscal year, but we want to make sure that all the folks that are here in the room that are receiving these dollars get a chance to get a picture. And I know this money is going to go to great work throughout our community, and we're grateful for the work you've done and the work that these organizations do on a daily basis to help these folks as they deal with substance abuse disorders and challenges in their life. So we'll go ahead and entertain a motion. It's been moved and seconded. We'll go ahead and do, if there are no other comments from the board, we'll go ahead and do a roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. And then if you're here today and you're representing an organization that's receiving funds, come on up and we'll get a picture with the board, and we want to acknowledge your work.
I'm sure.
Thought I was done.
All for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Number 46, resolution approving agreement for services and business associate agreement with Sheila White for medical services at the Polk County Juvenile Detention Center. 47, resolution approving agreement for services and business associate agreement with Cavalier and Associates for psychiatric and consultation services at the Polk County Juvenile Detention Center. 48, resolution approving agreement for medical director services and business associate agreement with Dr. Karen Olison. 49, resolution approving facility service agreement and business associate agreement with Heartland Area Education Agency for shelter care educational program at the Polk County Juvenile Detention Center. Number 50, resolution approving memorandum of understanding with Heartland Area Education Agency to meet the requirements of the Federal Healthy Kids Act. Number 51, resolution approving 6th amended agreement with the State of Iowa Department of Health and Human Services to administer Polk County decategorization and community partnerships for protecting children activities. Number 52, resolution approving 8th amended agreement with the State of Iowa Department of Health and Human Services to administer the Polk County decategorization pre-arrest diversion program. 53, resolution approving agreement with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services for funding to provide family development and self-sufficiency case management services for families receiving public assistance. And number 54, resolution approving agreement between Mid-Iowa Sexual Assault Response Team and the Department of Veterans Affairs for sexual assault exam services.
Moved.
Second.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 55, resolution approving agreement with Wesley Life Community Services for noontime meals to veterans, Meals on Wheels.
So moved.
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 56, resolution approving updated services fees for clinical services at the Polk County Health Department. Numbers 57 and 58 are resolutions approving contracts with Richmond Construction to address lead hazard repairs at 6612 Southwest 16th Street, Des Moines, and 3116 Shawnee Avenue, Des Moines. Number 59, resolution approving contract with Feck Steve Limited to address lead hazard repairs at 1106 Ravenna Drive, Des Moines. Numbers 60 and 61 are resolutions approving contracts with the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services for hospital preparedness program funding and public health emergency preparedness and EMS system development funding.
So moved.
Second.
Roll.
Matt, I have a question.
Sure.
On 56, I think Julianne, I saw her earlier. On the fee schedule, somewhere I saw, might have been in Frank's update, I don't recall. I just had a question, because there's nothing on the expense account, on the codes, but somewhere I saw you were gonna move physicals, refugee physicals from 15 to 65. So that seems a little excessive to me.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. Julianne Van Loo, Director for the Polk County Health Department. Your health department has deeply prioritized these screening and physicals the first half of this year. About a year ago, we were dedicating 1 day a nurse of 1 staff time to doing green card clinic. Essentially, our green card clinic is doing all the paperwork and immunizations necessary to help someone get their green card. Earlier this winter, we had a backlog of almost 300 folks sitting on a wait list. Part of this is because the only physicians that can oversee this work and can sign off on green card work are civil surgeons. We have about a handful of civil surgeons in all of Polk County. We are lucky to have one at our site 1 day a week, and since I've come on, I've brought on another one half a day a week so that our nurses can work under the standing orders of these civil surgeons. Because there are so few, these services are very costly in the community. So folks are paying several $100s for these services. We're charging $15. We've been charging $15 for the last 13 years, and we should have been incrementally increasing this cost as we go. It costs me about $65 an hour to pay a nurse, and a green card visit collectively takes about 3 hours of nursing time. So I'm spending about $200 and getting about $15 each for each of those services. To mitigate the backlog that we have, in my tenure, I have moved 2 nurses. They are full-time running green card clinic, 40 hours a week, 2 nurses, to keep up with demand in the community. At the same time, to work through that huge backlog, in the month of May, I closed other clinics 2 days a week, brought in 2 additional nurses, and we are now have 0 backlog. So we've been working really hard with the personnel that we have to move folks around, to be able to manage really the onslaught of folks we have coming to us needing this service. We provide this service very well. They come to us because we are excellent at using our interpreters. We have deep connections with these refugee communities, so we're working upstream with our resettlement agencies, with others who know these communities. I don't like that we're having to make this price increase. But by virtue of moving nursing to this service and paying as much as I am for these services, that moves nurses away from other services where we no longer are bringing in that revenue. We're working really hard to sustain those other services with the nurses that we have so that we're not turning people away for STIs and immunizations, and we're not. But it does mean that there are less appointments available for those other services. So we're trying really hard to do what we can to serve this community. We know that there's an increased need right now because of what's happening federally and across the U.S. for folks to make sure that they have some sort of status as soon as they humanly can. And that's our mission, is to make sure that as soon as folks are coming to us, have been here 12 months and are eligible for these services, that we're getting them in immediately. This work is hard because it usually involves bringing in immunization records from other countries. It takes nurses hours to comb through them to understand what they've received before throughout their life course to get that all into the state system. If we mess up these forms that we have to submit for citizenship and for a green card, it sends folks right back through this process, and it's really cumbersome and hard for them. So we really pride ourselves on making sure that we're really filling out these forms accurately, appropriately. We have great physician oversight, but we can't afford what we're doing right this minute. And so by making this change, honestly, to really sustain the volume we're doing now, I would need to increase it further. But I think going to this 65 can keep us where we are, make sure that we can continue to staff those 2 nurses on this for a while, and make sure that we're still kind of able to keep the rest of our services afloat. So
Okay,
thank you.
great explanation, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 62, resolution approving small cell lease agreement with New Singular Wireless. 63, resolution approving Iowa Office of Drug Control Policy, U.S. Department of Justice Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant for the Mine Task Force. Numbers 64 and 65 are resolutions approving Iowa Office of Drug Control Policy, U.S. Department of Justice Edward Byrne Justice Assistance State Crisis Intervention Program grants, St. Vincent de Paul and Warren Program. Number 66, resolution approving Iowa Office of Drug Control Policy, U.S. Department of Justice Residential Substance Abuse Treatment, Bridges of Iowa. And number 67, resolution approving awarding RFP number 1312526 to Crow Auto Service.
So moved.
Second.
I want to separate, I'll approve all the other ones, but I want to separate number 67.
67. Is it acceptable if we do the votes on 62 through 66?
Yes.
So this is for number 62 through 66. We have a motion and a second. Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
So number 67, resolution approving awarding RFP number 1312526 to Crow Auto Service.
So moved.
Second.
So I just need to ask, we obviously send out an RFP. Was GNS contract up?
Yes, so we went to RFP. Their contract had expired. They had an opportunity to renewal. We thought it was in the best interest of the county to go to RFP to get the best value, not just for the county, but for the citizens. Croto was by far and away the most responsive bidder. In fact, technically the only responsive bidder. They also had something really unique in their proposal that provides full release. So this is something that Des Moines is currently doing, feels really positive about is they will take over the full release process. So what Des Moines used to do, what the sheriff's office currently does, is an individual would have to come to the sheriff's office first, find transportation there, and then transportation again to the tow yard. This provides a one-stop shop where everything is done there. It'll allow the county to also reduce, I think, our org chart by 1 FTE by not having to provide those services. And then body cameras was another thing in that RFP that really helped Croto stand out. And I think it's important to note too that this is essentially a public safety agreement. So a lot of the complaints you hear about towing is between a private company, an apartment complex, and citizens. This is not for anything on private property. This is strictly for 911 calls that are dispatched if there's an accident, if somebody's stalled. So this is an officer or 911 requesting the service. So we are actually requesting that service from the tow company. And again, it was the most responsive bidder and the best value for the county.
All the problems that we've had with this past towing company, curious to know what the Better Business Bureau record is. Last time it was an FB minus or something.
Well, I know just from the county's perspective and from the sheriff's office perspective, we've never had any issues with Croto. I know there's been complaints, obviously, through private agreements with properties, but that isn't something that the county engages in. Again, it's essentially a law enforcement.
Do we have a signed contract?
Yes.
I'd like to interject here for a second, if I could, Mr. Chairman. I personally have had extremely bad experience with this company, and I find that they seem to prey on specific people, and they prey on specific areas. And it'd be one thing if they received a call and responded to a call, but when they drive around looking for cars that they can tow, which they do, I know, and then I'll be voting no.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
No.
Connolly?
No.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 68, resolution approving position modification within the Department of Information Technology.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Holm? Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 69, agreement between Thomson Reuters and the Polk County Attorney's Office for the renewal of the Civil Division Account Agreement for online legal subscription services. Number 70, resolution approving retention of Amy Reesner and Lynch Dallas. Number 71, resolution approving retention of Jim Quilty, Elizabeth Tersey, Todd Lance, and their law firms to represent 3 elected officials in civil litigation, which has been filed against 3 elected officials and Polk County, Iowa. Number 72, resolution approving retention of Brent Hinders and Hopkins and Hubner PC for legal representation of county official. And number 73, resolution approving settlement agreement, release of liability, indemnification, and covenant not to sue with Shannon Archer.
So moved. I have a question on 70. This is the one with Amy Reesner and Lynch Dallas. Is there going to be a cap on this? And this is for outside counsel to go for any time the board desires? Do we vote on it, or is it a free rein for anybody to ask to do anything, or what does it exactly mean?
So this is retaining outside counsel for a specific report, but then also any other issues that may arise. And so it's already benefited the county because we've had multiple investigations in which we've had to retain this particular attorney. I don't want to get too much in the weeds of the different litigation investigations, but there's cross conflicts across the board. The county has a duty to defend itself. If the county attorney is unable or unwilling to defend.
If there's
the
a
county-
conflict.
If there's a conflict, and if and when we've had many. So we've already used Ms. Reesner on a number of litigation and investigations, and so this continues to allow that process depending on what the future might hold. It's another tool in the toolbox for you to make sure you're doing your duty in defending the county the best way possible.
So is there a cap of any kind on this, is what I'm asking?
There's not a cap, it's essentially as needed, so we would pay for those services as the county requests those services to be needed.
May I ask a clarifying question so I know how to conduct myself?
Sure.
Is this a matter-specific engagement, or is Ms. Reesner employed as board counsel?
No, it is matter-specific, but it also is as needed. It isn't to usurp any statutory requirement by the county attorney.
I'm not trying to insinuate anything negative. I just want to know if she is board counsel, then I will relinquish my seat. I'm not trying to step on any toes here.
No.
But going forward, the county attorney's office will need to know when it is engaged to represent and when it is not, so that we can conduct ourselves in an ethical manner to the best of our representation of you and the county.
Yeah, I mean, the county attorney's office has reviewed this specific agreement, so I'm not sure where that interpretation came from, but no, it is not replacing the county attorney as board counsel.
That's why I'm asking, because it's so broad. I don't know if would that mean every time that we wanted to use her, we'd go to the Board of Supervisors and vote on it? If we were gonna use her?
No, I think that it would provide the board an opportunity if they need to have a set of eyes, review whatever investigation or litigation. might be
Okay,
going on.
investigation I get, or a court case,
Mhm.
I understand. If they're conflicted out. But I'm talking about anything else. If you don't like the county attorney's opinion on something, are you gonna hire her?
I don't know that that would be the case. I don't see the harm in ever getting a second opinion on things and having, another attorney look at things. But again, this is specific for litigation and investigations. So I don't think it's overly broad by any means. And again, this is for situations where the county attorney's office has expressed their inability to defend the county. And so we would be operating at a deficit to not have, defense in whatever we might be facing. And so this is another opportunity to do our due diligence and make sure that we're protecting the county and its assets and in the best way possible. And again, this is situations where the county attorney has expressed their inability to defend the county.
On certain cases,
Yes.
because they're in conflict.
Correct.
Okay. I get that part. It doesn't say that in this resolution. This just opens it up to do anything. That's why I'm saying it's kind of broad. Doesn't have a cap. Just means that she can do anything she wants.
I don't know, I agree with that, and I mean, I don't understand the point of the cap. I mean, it would be as needed basis, so we would, you know, it'd be an hourly rate for those services.
So I think essentially, I mean, we don't want to come back to every board meeting and authorize her use, but it would be somewhat of a discussion between the county and the county attorney's office on how to move forward on particular things. It's not like we're looking to close the door on the county attorney, but this affords another opportunity once those conflicts or issues arise that we don't have to turn around and have a resolution before we get, especially if it's very time sensitive.
So if there's a conflict, we're gonna use her.
Well, I think that's one of the purposes, yeah. I mean,
What's that other purpose?
you
Give
know,
me an
I-
example.
I don't want to get into too many legal examples here in a public meeting, but I think it's generally a resource for the county to use when the county attorney's office is expressly unavailable to provide an opinion or legal guidance on. And I may be speaking out of turn for the inter-county administrator, but that's kind of my view on the situation. We don't want to come back here 2 weeks after a situation arises and let something percolate for 2 weeks when it can be taken care of quickly if we have to.
And to your point, procedurally, administratively, this makes more sense. We had another investigation arise that needed immediate attention, and because we have a past relationship with Ms. Reesner, we were able to assign her to that because the county attorney was not able to represent that investigation. So we've already benefited from it. I think we would continue to have it almost as a retainer moving forward as these conflicts present themselves.
We're going down a slippery slope.
I call the question, Mr. Chair.
Roll call.
Are we voting on these collectively?
Yes.
Holm? Yes. Hawkinsmith?
No.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 74, resolution approving First Amendment to Banking Services Agreement with J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 75, resolution approving continued use of ACH process for payment of health and dental claims. And number 76, resolution authorizing the Polk County Auditor to issue manual checks during fiscal year 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 77, resolution authorizing the creation or deletion of funds within Polk County's chart of accounts during fiscal year 25-26. 78, resolution authorizing the use of interfund loan pools for fiscal year 25-26. Number 79, resolution authorizing fiscal year 25-26 transfers. 80, resolution authorizing fiscal year 24-25 year-end transfers. And number 81, resolution appropriating fiscal year 25-26 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 82, resolution approving amendment to 28E agreement with Catch Des Moines and member communities. Number 83, resolution approving agreement with Bacardi USA for advertising and sponsorship at the Iowa Event Center. 84, resolution approving Iowa State Associations of Counties HIPAA program agreement. Numbers 85 and 86 are resolutions appointing individuals to serve as Polk County's representatives on various boards and commissions.
So moved.
Second.
I got a comment on 85. So that's the Iowa Event Center, and I have nothing against the two new appointments, by the way. Tim Coonan and Dean O'Connor, I think will probably make great appointments. I've talked to them both. But I want to make it clear that once again, it appears that we are, I think it's crazy, we're retaliating against certain folks, particularly supervisors, that are picks on these boards. We have representatives that have been serving at the pleasure of two non-serving supervisors but yet we're kicking off 2 board members that, have been representative that are still there, that are still here, and we're losing a lot of institutional knowledge, about hotel financing. And I'm sure, as I've talked to Tim, that he's willing to certainly get up to speed, and I'm sure that they will allow him to do that before he, gets in full swing on the board. But I just find it ironic that we're kicking off 2 board members and leaving 2 on that have been there for existing board members that aren't even there any longer, so.
Just to clarify your statement, Angela, I was told that I had a vacancy.
You do have a vacancy. I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
I'm talking about
Alright.
John Morrow
Alright.
and Bob Rynell have appointments that are still there.
I think the problem was the thing that I struggle with is these were open-ended terms. There was no ending date, no expiration date on these terms, and I think for good governance on boards, having turnover is a vital part of getting new perspectives and new views. And as you know, 40% of the board is new, and 60% of the board has never had a chance to appoint a member to the entity. So I think it's
great that they're appointing new board members.
and I
I'm
hope
complaining
they'll
about who they appointed, who they took off.
yeah, and I hope they'll deal with I hope for continuity purposes, they'll deal with a, change in the bylaws to create a end of the term so that we can get turnover on the board and get fresh perspective and not have folks that serve forever on a board, so that, you know what's going on, because there's been very little communication out of the board to me over the years, and I've had no dialogue with any of the board members that were previously appointed in 2018, so.
Did you ask? That's
Should
what I do.
ask, I guess.
I have asked multiple times and had no communication.
Through an email?
Doubt it.
I'm sure there are emails, yeah.
Well, okay. Show me those records at some point if you get a chance, man.
Well, anyway, I do believe I think this is a good practice too, and I hope that one of the first orders of business is they will take a look at, some type of succession planning as a board, and that they establish a term limit for boards and commissions. So I think it's appropriate.
Mr. Chair, I could provide a clarifying point too, that when we reviewed this, and my recommendation would be to see full turnover of this board, but for continuity of their operations, the recommendation was to leave the chair and the vice chair on there.
Yeah.
And replace the others to get a new set of eyes. To your point about communication, I had invited them for a board staff to give this board some background, and they were requesting about $5 million for a soft renovation. Not a single board member attended that meeting, so that's to the point of, I think, lack of communication. But not having term limits, I think, on any of your appointments and boards is a problem. So I think it is the time for turnover, and we did that in a way to maintain continuity while also getting new members on there to review operations.
Very good. Roll call?
Are we pulling any out to vote separately? Okay. Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
No.
Connolly?
No.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Numbers 87 and 88 are resolutions approving community betterment grant awards and community sponsorship awards.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Number 88A is resolution approving award of contract for excess liability insurance services to True North Companies, LC.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Hold on, I just want to make one comment. If I understand correctly, risk management, we went out, this is the one we talked about the last meeting. I think I asked the question if we were going out we did go out for an RFP, and we did in the beginning of May, I believe. Is that right?
No, that was a deferred compensation, a different one.
Oh, that was different. Okay, so, but did we go out for RFP for this?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Okay, so, risk management, as I understand it, in the procurement or in the Polk County Attorney's Office, I don't think recommended approval of this. So I'm just letting you know, I'm gonna be voting no.
So the initial recommendation, I think, was to renew the existing carrier, which part of going for that competitive bid is to get the best value to the county. The rating sheets I reviewed were all over the board. We had a tight turnaround on this. But as I compared them apples to apples, True North, who is the recommendation today, was the most responsive, the most transparent, which has really stood out to me as far as a fee-based structure rather than a totally commission-based structure. So again, that's the point of going to the RFP, to be competitive, to get the best value, and I think we're doing that in this case.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
No.
Connolly?
No.
Altringer? McCoy?
Yes. Communications?
Communications, number 89, Polk County Treasurer Semi-Annual Report, July 1 through December 31, 2024, and 90, Manure Management Plan Update from Mud Creek Feeders.
Receive and file?
Number 91, Request for Tax Abatement for Property at 6705 Southeast 5th Street, Des Moines.
Refer to Assessor, Treasurer, and County Attorney?
Number 92, Corn Belt Power Cooperative Annual Notice on New Grain Bins. 93, City of Urbandale Notice of Application and Public Hearing for Voluntary Annexation of Property. And 94, City of West Des Moines Notice of Consultation Concerning Proposed Amendment Number 7 to the Alluvion Urban Renewal Plan.
Refer to Public Works and County Attorney? Memorandum of Budget Actions. Are there any budget actions?
None.
Okay. Appointments?
This'll-
Move. Second.
This is the Memorandum of Appointments, number 96 and 97, the Memorandum of Annual Salaries for Authorizing Positions for Fiscal Year 25-26.
Roll call?
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith?
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer? McCoy?
Yes. As we move into board member comments, I do want to say this is the last meeting of the fiscal year, so I'd like to recognize the great department heads and staff for all the great work they do behind the scenes. They did a lot throughout the year, but there was an extra effort finalizing so many of the resolutions that were on the agenda here for June 30th. As you can see, we had a very full agenda today, and so a lot of work went into making this happen. On behalf of the board, I want you to know we appreciate the cooperation between our offices and departments and the hard work and dedication, quick turnarounds that went into making these deadlines. Our employees are our unsung heroes on great work we do at the county, and I think acknowledging them at the end of the fiscal year is appropriate. Any other board comments? If not, I believe we have a closed session at this time to discuss strategy related to pending litigation under Iowa Code Section 21.51C.
So that's number 99, closed session to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51C.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Connolly?
Yes.
Altringer?
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes. Did the closed session where no action was taken in closed session. We're now re-entering our regular session that was temporarily adjourned, and we're re-entering open session and would entertain a motion to consider Resolution 100 and 101 at this time.
So moved.
Number 100, resolution approving Polk County, Iowa, executing a joint defense agreement with individual board members and their legal counsel, all named defendants, in a lawsuit pending in Polk County, Iowa, District Court Case Number LACL 0162451. And number 101, resolution directing outside legal counsel to take confidential employment action on behalf of Polk County, Iowa, pursuant to the discussion held in closed session with respect to the records which are required by state law to be kept confidential and with respect to the privileged and confidential legal advice related to Polk County, Iowa's legal obligations and/or obligations under its policies.
Roll call.
Holm?
Yes.
Hawkinsmith? Connolly? Altringer? McCoy?
Yes. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn the regular session of the Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
Move.
Second. Yes.
Hawkinsmith? Connolly?
Yeah.
Altringer? Yes. McCoy?
Yes.